Good morning, Honors One. Happy Tuesday. I just want to go ahead and just spend a couple minutes today talking about those short stories that you're working on and getting ready to submit. If you check your module sheets that you've been going through slowly, you'll see that I would love to have your short stories into turnitin.com tomorrow by midnight. So I'm looking forward to reading them, and then we can all get some really productive feedback on those. So today, let's talk about how do we create characterization in our writing. Right? We want our readers to want to keep reading. And if you think about any good book that you've ever picked up, whether it's Animal Farm or 13 Doorways, Wolves Behind Everyone, One of Us is Lying, whatever great piece of fiction you pick up, the thing that really, I would say, efficient and productive and great writers do is they create characterization. One of the ways we do that is not just with our descriptive writing when we're, hopefully creating some imagery about what they look like, their posture, how do they interact with other people, what are their personality types or their character traits, but also with what they say, what they think, and how they deliver that. So that is, remember, called dialogue. So we use dialogue to really create characterization. I want you to remember that, put simply, this is just my little blurb here, but put simply, dialogue is narrative that is conveyed through speech by two or more characters. So effective dialogue should do many things all at once, not just simply convey information. You don't want it to be meaningless. You don't want it just to suck up space on a page. It should set the scene. It should advance the action. What they're saying should be hopefully creating some suspense for us. We want to know what's going to happen to these characters. We care about these characters. It should really give us insight into each character and foreshadow future dramatic action that's going to happen. What your characters say and think provides familiarity and allows the reader to get into their head, to see, feel, believe who they are. Strong characterization is the key to engaging your reader and productively moving that plot forward. So let's go ahead and get started with what that's going to look like. So using dialogue in your narrative writing. Well, this is what I want you to be thinking about. You all have dialogue, but is everything your character is saying important? You need to make sure that what you're including actually is going to, help us. So when those characters speak, we need to make sure we're putting it into quotes. We need to make sure that we're doing that correctly with MLA guidelines and with just our standard structure with how we write in the English language. We have two different types of dialogue. We have direct and we have indirect. So direct is the exact words that they're going to be speaking, and indirect is that secondhand reporting of what was heard or written, but it's not the exact words in the original form. So here are some rules that I have for you to follow when you're writing direct dialogue in your narratives. You can see rule number 1 right here. How do we use those quotation marks to indicate words that are spoken? Here's rule number 2. If I'm beginning that new paragraph, every single time the speaker changes, I have to make sure that I'm indenting. You'll notice here, and remember we've talked about this in class, punctuation, then quotation. So we want to make sure we're putting that comma, then the quotation mark. If I'm finished speaking, Sue announced, then I have punctuation and quotation again here. I'm really tired and can't work anymore, period, quotation mark. So rule number 3, you have to let us know who's talking. You don't want your reader to get lost. And I think that's all happened to us when we've read even a great piece of literature before. We sometimes can get confused. So make sure that it's really clear. And of course, use your proper capitalization when you do that. So this is just some basic rules for you to be following. You'll also notice here that indirect dialogue can be used as a technique, so you don't always have to have direct dialogue going on in your short story or piece of fiction. But that's something that we heard the other character maybe saying. So it might be Tony heard, or they're just telling us about what was happening beforehand. We don't need the exact words. Snicklefritz listened to the conversation between his parents and understood that today was the day that he was going to have to clean his room. So we understand that something was going on, but we don't need every word. When you punctuate that dialogue, if you have questions, just shoot me a quick email, but I think this is pretty clear. You capitalize the first word that they're speaking. And then if it's in the middle of their sentence, you do not have to capitalize that, the continuation of their thought. But if it's all if they're finished talking, then we need to have that punctuation there. So notice that the comma separates the speaker from the quotation. Terry and then the lifeguard here. All right. If it ends in a quotation mark, then you don't need the comma. So that's sometimes what I see with people making little mistakes. So go ahead and try this today. I want to see, I am looking for that when I'm reading those short stories. I want to see that you've tried dialogue, not only that you've punctuated it correctly, but that you're using it as hopefully a technique, one of your tools as a writer, that you're really developing your own style and have fun with it. Let us see their personality and their dialogue. If you have questions, let me know. Hopefully I'll see you during our office Zoom conferences at some point today. Have a great Tuesday.